Hello everyone and welcome back again. This time we'll be looking at my third feature toy box, which is Thor Destiny for the Asgard challenge. I placed this box on 2.0 and now I brought it back again for 3.0 and I have remastered quite a little bit of stuff. So you start off first in a hub world where you will see all your chapters over there. And you can explore a little bit with the hub world. It's nothing too fancy, but you got the little Asgardians walking around and Lady Steve's home. You can talk to her, I guess. And I created this little room here just for her. And there's another little room on the other side. Here's just a little closer view of the house inside. And this is the other side. Basically the hub world back in 2.0 had to be done in order to make sure a toy box could work together when it had so many doors. So now without further ado, let's go with chapter 1, Lady Sif. So in chapter 1 we will meet Lady Sif. The war has started, God of Thunder. So here I prepared a little cutscene using Lady Sif. And you start off by rescuing at least 10 Asgardians. In the original 2.0 box you had to rescue 15 Asgardians. But I noticed people would take quite forever to get all of them, so I reduced it to 10. But there's still 15 Asgardians, just in case one of them disappears or an enemy destroys him or whatever happens. There's extra Asgardians to make sure you have enough to complete the mission. As you can see, there's also frost giants that will try to stop you from rescuing them. Originally there was a lot more frost giants, but I know people are pretty tired of frost giants, so I reduced the amount of frost giants a little significantly throughout the entire toy box. It still can be a little challenging because the Asgardians run through the entire place, but I wanted the player to explore a little bit. I really love doing this like interior because I thought maybe design it like this was inside Thor's palace of his parents and such. So I put all these pillars and I played a lot with the blocks using the golden texture inside of this terrain. Looks amazing. And well, overall I really love the Asgardian textures as a whole, so I was really excited to use them. I think we got so many Asgardian stuff that I really wanted to recreate the Asgard similar to the movies while creating my own little story. So basically Loki has once again done war against Asgard. So you have to first rescue the people here, and then we'll go do other several missions to prepare for the war. This entire chapter is preparing for the war. Each chapter is a different type of story and a little different type of gameplay. We're almost there to get the very last one. We got 2 more over here. We're gonna get them pretty quick. If they stop running away from me, I'm their hero. And one more, come on. We got this. Oh. Thor, come on. Don't play jokes with me. You know what? Maybe that goes in. Yes, it got in. Now proceed forward so I can activate the explosives, says Lady Sif. Here's another zoom-in view of the place before I leave. And we leave. Another cutscene time. I wanted really to play with cutscenes for this particular toy box. And the explosions go boom. Now go find ammo on our defense turrets. A frost giant somehow managed to be alive and hit me. Oh, okay, he's really insistent. Anyway, let me finish him in case he makes more trouble. That was partially my fault for showing you the view. Anyway, we're gonna have to collect these 5 canisters, which will be the ammo for our turrets in Asgard. There will be some destroy enemies on the way, but again, they're not important to proceed. Again, also this toy box is very flying friendly. I made sure there was a lot of space and that you really needed to use flying by Thor because he's a flying character after all. This one over here, sometimes people take a little time to find it, but once they see stuff moving, they find it. There's some more robots over here. It's also one toy box that really helps you level up Thor if you haven't really given much love to Thor. Doing this toy box, it made me really appreciate Thor more than I would have actually. So here's a little view on this lava segment over here. I wanted to create like a factory in Asgard using that fancy lava. Now we got to step on 5 pressure plates to activate the turrets, and we've got to defeat the enemies. This time it is mandatory to take them down. Again, this one has emphasis on flying. We got 1 pressure plate here. We got another one over here. Now we're gonna look for another one on this little secret place over here. We got some enemies. Let's try to take some of them down with our power. There we go. They can be pretty consistent, I'll say that. More power. I think Thor's finishing move is definitely one of my favorites from all the characters. It's very wide range. So let's see, frost giants. There was a lot more frost giants on this section too, but I reduced them. Sometimes what I would do is just put less stronger frost giants, so that way you don't have to go through many annoying shielded frost giants. Got another here. There's a few more pressure plates, but I want to take down these enemies first. Okay, let's go to this one. Here's a little here I designed like a throne room, and over here is a pressure plate. Here's another pressure plate as well. And now we have 1 batch of enemies left. Here we go. And there we go. Oh, it was just 1. Good. Now we'll get a cutscene of our turrets activating because we activated them. And now they're hitting the frost giants pretty quickly. You can now go to chapter 2, the Collector. Stop the blue frames from becoming active, so I can keep them safe in my collection. So here, this one was pretty much my favorite cutscene because I designed like the Collector is inside his ship and he's waiting for you. So I thought it was a pretty cool thing to design, and I was really happy with the results of it. And basically on this chapter, You're just gonna play through different camera angles, sort of with platforming and combat at the same time. And there I go. Woohoo! Anyway, and basically just this one is just reaching the goal. There's not a big diverse of attacks like the previous one. This is more just move on forward and reach the blue flames and destroy them. Wow, I'm failing terribly. I'm failing terribly at my level. So here, I really love this camera because you see the columns passing through, and I don't know, it just made it more three-dimensional for me. And you know, as a filmmaker, I always wanted to put in those film angles that I love, play around with them on the video game itself, and I was really pleased with doing this here. On these sections you don't really have to kill the enemies, but I'm killing them just in case. And whoops! Sorry. Here we go. The good thing is that if you don't like platforming, you can fly with Thor and cheat your way through if you want to. Again, I wanted to emphasize player choice. You want to do platforming, then cool, do it. But if you hate platforming, you hate it, but you still want to play through the story of this, you can fly through it. So this batch of enemies you don't have to take down, but I want to take them down again just in case they don't get nuts or something. And I like to push the enemies on the lava. That's pretty cool. Oh look, that one's sticking on the platform. No, you're not getting lucky. I am landing soon, if the Frosties let me. This is what the collector ship looks for me. I'm not very good at designing a ship, sorry. But in that place that you saw right now, that ship, the collector is actually there, the piece itself. So now we need to find 2 keys on this platforming section. And this one, I wanted to give you a little bit more challenge. You can fly through this portion, but there's some enemies that attack you if you fly around, which are these flying fireballs. They don't do that much damage, but just wanted to give you a little challenge. This platforming section, for some reason, has lost rhythm to me. It sometimes happens, unfortunately, but you can fly it out and just continue forward once you get the keys. Again, I just want to make sure the player can progress throughout the toy box. In this little machines part right here, again, I wanted to create like this was, in this chapter is more like Thor is on the mines, a bit of more underground of Asgard. You saw like the mine tunnels, and now you saw another lava section. Want to see like more of a workplace for Asgard. What's the daily life behind Asgard? I don't know, I may be going crazy there, but in here, these are the last batch of enemies you have to take down to finally open the door and destroy the blue flames. I also wanted to make sure each chapter was themed to characters. Chapter 1 was Lady Sif, Chapter 2 is the Collector, which I always wanted to do something with the Collector himself, and I thought he was appropriate for Asgard because Lady Sif went to see him in the movie. And there's also a chapter 3, but I'm not gonna spoil you who's chapter 3 yet. Now we're gonna take down the blue flames. I made sure it doesn't take you forever to take down the blue flames. It only takes a couple of hits, as you can see. because I know people put these things with a lot of life bar and it's just frustrating. And we're done with chapter 2. And one final cutscene with the Collector. Excellent, leave the rest to me. Oh, he's hiding under the chair, okay. And without further ado, chapter 3, Loki. Playtime is over, brother. Frost Giants, finish Odin. So yes, as you can see, I did a Loki block art. This was before Loki was out as a figure, so I wanted him to be present in some form, and I didn't have a townsperson by then, so I did this block art, which is actually my favorite block art I have done because I thought it was gonna be horrendous, and I don't know, it turned out pretty okay. Well, at least better than what I was expecting. Anyway, on this chapter, in this chapter the war has officially. In this final chapter, you are on the last stage of the war. You have to defend Odin from all the Frost Giants. The gameplay is pretty simple, you just have to defend for 5 minutes. Make sure Odin doesn't die. And you're gonna be taking down a lot of Frost Giants here. A great opportunity to level up as well. This particular chapter, even though it seems like the most simple one compared to all the other ones, is actually the one I had to change so many times. For starters, originally this was a 10-minute war. But I saw someone playing it and saw that it was way too long. When the toy box got featured, I lowered it down to 7 minutes. But after testing it, I realized that I wanted to reduce it even more for the 3.0 edition to only 5 minutes. I also had to make this decision because the enemies themselves have become super smarter than ever before. They are reacting completely different to when they do on 2.0 in this toy box. I also had to make Odin have more lives because it was becoming actually much more harder because the enemies are so much smarter now. Originally, also, this chapter was pretty hard to beat, and regardless of your decisions, you would still win if you had so much difficulty. But I decided to fix it. Now you can actually lose, but the game is actually much more easier than ever before. Now there's 4 turrets protecting Odin, surrounding him. And like I said, Odin has more lives, there is much more less minutes to defend, and I did reduce a little bit the amount of Frost Giants because I had way too many big guys and it was just gonna be impossible for the player. So after many testing, I'm really happy with these final results of this particular chapter. I think from all the remastered toy boxes, this one was definitely the one I went through a lot more work because it's definitely one of my favorite ones I have made. So I wanted to make sure it was working even better than it was before. I always wanted to create this idea of a war with other characters around, so you will also see that there's townspersons battling the Frost Giants, and believe it or not, those townsperson really help a lot. They can distract the enemy, so if they can at least distract the enemy and actually hit them, so that way you don't have so many enemies at the same time. Originally these townspersons had guns, unfortunately this changed for 3.0, but regardless they're still very useful. We're almost done, but the battle is getting heavy. but I think we can make it, right? We can do this, Thor. We can do this. A little thing also is that Lady Sif is walking around the place even though she's not actually battling. I still wanted to have her there to symbolize that she's part of the war as well. And we're done. We have saved Asgard. Now we reach the ending for a little fireworks party. Congratulations, you saved Asgard! And now you're at the beginning, and if you want to repeat a chapter that you like a lot, you can do so now. Or whenever you load back the toy box, you can choose your favorite if you just want to skip one in particular. And that's it for today. Thank you everyone for watching, and all your support has been really amazing, so thank you. So see you next time.